Everything around you is alive with invisible threads, connecting every thought, every movement, every heartbeat to the vast web of existence. These threads are not just metaphor, they are the very fabric of reality, vibrating silently, shaping life in ways most never notice. In the world of Shaolin, this is more than philosophy, it's a practice. Every action you take, every intention you hold, sends ripples through this network, touching places you cannot see, influencing outcomes you cannot yet understand. Few realize that these ripples carry energy, a hidden current flowing beneath the surface of daily life. This energy is not random, it responds to the mind, the body, and the subtle mastery of focus. Ancient Shaolin teachings reveal that by becoming aware of these connections, by tuning into the quiet signals of your subconscious, a door opens, one that leads to power, clarity, and a form of energy that exists beyond the ordinary senses. In this video, you will discover how your mind and body are not separate from the universe. They are instruments capable of resonating with these unseen forces. You will learn techniques to sense, direct, and awaken this hidden energy. You will understand why small, precise shifts in thought and action can transform not just your life, but the world around you in ways subtle and profound. By the end, you will see that mastery is not about forcing power, but learning to move with it, to listen, and to act with deliberate presence. Welcome to Shaolin Soulfire, where ancient wisdom meets the inner fire waiting within you. Subscribe now and step into the practice of awakening energy that has always been quietly yours. The mind often speaks in whispers, and the body carries truths that the conscious self cannot see. Most of the energy you carry is tucked away in the depths of your subconscious, quietly shaping your thoughts, decisions, and actions without drawing attention to itself. It is patient, hidden, waiting for recognition like a coiled spring beneath still water. Few ever notice it, and fewer still learn to move with it. True mastery does not come from forcing control over this inner current. Shaolin teachings remind us that power imposed from the outside is fleeting. Real strength arises when you learn to listen, when you attune yourself to the subtle signals your mind and body send. A shift in breath, a tightening in the chest, a fleeting thought, these are not distractions, they are messages. They reveal where energy is blocked, where focus drifts, and where intent falters. The subconscious responds to rhythm, pattern, and attention. It is drawn to repetition, to deliberate practice, and to the quiet insistence of a disciplined mind. Each time you focus, each time you direct your intent with calm precision, the hidden energy begins to respond. It moves, stretches, aligns itself, waiting for a moment when it can emerge into action. What many do not realize is that the subconscious does not separate mind from body. It senses both, weaving intention through movement, through posture, through the pulse of thought itself. When you act with awareness, when your focus is steady and your patterns deliberate, this dormant energy awakens not as a sudden eruption, but as a quiet, powerful current that begins to guide your every choice. It is always there, waiting for you to notice, waiting for you to honor the deep, intelligent life that resides within. Energy moves silently, yet it shapes everything. At the quantum level, there is a subtle truth, like draws, like thoughts, emotions, and intentions are not merely private, they send out vibrations that ripple through the unseen currents of life. When your inner frequency is unsettled, scattered, or tense, the world responds in kind. But when it is aligned, calm, and deliberate, circumstances shift, often in ways that seem almost impossible. The Shaolin masters understood this centuries ago. They taught that the body and mind are instruments capable of tuning to higher states of awareness. Breathing, controlled and mindful, becomes the metronome that synchronizes inner and outer worlds. With each measured inhale, energy rises. With each deliberate exhale, tension and chaos dissolve. Breath is not just air, it is the bridge between thought and matter, a tool to harmonize what is within with what manifests without. Discipline in these practices is subtle but profound. It is not about force or intensity. It is about consistency, attention, and presence. A single focused breath can shift the current of energy that has lain dormant for years. Over time, this alignment becomes habitual, a quiet power that reshapes how the world interacts with you. When you learn to observe your inner state and adjust your frequency through mindful breathing, patterns begin to change. Encounters flow differently. Decisions feel clearer. Even challenges that once seemed immovable bend under the force of this subtle, steady energy. The principle is simple, yet rarely experienced. When the mind, body, and breath are in harmony, you do not chase life. You move with it, and life begins to move with you. True power often hides in what is unseen and unheard. Silence is not empty, it is alive with possibility. In meditation, the mind is given space to unfold, to notice the currents of energy that flow beneath the surface. Each focused breath becomes a key, unlocking doors within the subconscious, revealing strength and clarity that usually lie dormant. The body remembers what the mind forgets, and through stillness, that memory rises to awareness. Distractions are the thieves of energy. Noise, hurried thoughts, and constant demands scatter the mind's focus, leaving little room for subtle currents to emerge. In these moments, energy becomes trapped, tension builds, and the connection between intention and action weakens. The Shaolin way teaches that presence is cultivated, not demanded. It is through repeated practice that the mind learns to settle, that attention can flow unbroken, and that the quiet spaces between thoughts reveal their true power. A daily ritual of stillness can transform ordinary moments into profound practice. Begin with a simple posture, seated or standing, back straight, shoulders relaxed. Close the eyes and draw the breath in slowly, feeling it expand through the chest and abdomen. Exhale deliberately, letting tension fall away with each release. Allow awareness to rest on the rhythm of breathing, and when thoughts arise, let them pass without grasping. Even a few minutes each day begins to train the mind, the body, and the energy within to align. Over time, this practice becomes more than ritual. It becomes a gateway. The quiet is no longer empty, the breath no longer mechanical. Energy begins to move freely. Subtle shifts are felt in posture, in thought, in presence. What was once dormant starts to awaken, guided by the gentle discipline of stillness, patience, and mindful observation. Energy flows, but it is neither random nor automatic. It responds to intention, to attention, to the subtle direction of the mind. Trying to harness it blindly is like grasping at the wind. You feel movement, but it slips through your fingers. True mastery begins when awareness meets action, when the currents of thought, feeling, and breath are guided with care and clarity. The mind is a tuner, and your consciousness the dial. Thoughts, emotions, and physical sensations are the signals you must learn to read. When attention is scattered, energy fragments. When focus is deliberate, the hidden currents align, carrying intention into motion. Just as a radio must be set to the right frequency to receive sound, the body and mind must be attuned to access this subtle power. Awareness acts as the dial, adjusting the flow until it resonates with purpose. Shaolin practices offer living examples of this principle. In slow, deliberate forms, each movement mirrors the mind's focus. Every stance, every shift of weight, every controlled breath trains the body to become an extension of conscious thought. When the mind is steady, the body follows. When the body is disciplined, the mind stabilizes. Exercises such as balancing postures or flowing sequences are not mere physical routines. They are laboratories for energy, teaching how intention shapes motion, how stillness can amplify power, and how repeated practice rewires the connection between inner awareness and outer expression. Through this discipline, energy stops being a vague concept. It becomes tangible, navigable, and responsive. Each day, as the mind tunes and the body mirrors, the currents within grow stronger, more precise. Awareness becomes the bridge, and every thought, every movement, every breath becomes a tool for conscious mastery over the hidden forces that shape life itself. The mind is a garden, but most of us wander through it, carrying seeds we never planted. Habitual thoughts, fears, and unexamined reactions take root, quietly shaping energy, constricting its flow, and dimming potential. Each worry, each repetitive story we tell ourselves, acts like a dam, holding back currents that could otherwise move freely. These mental patterns are subtle, almost invisible, yet their impact is profound. The first step toward liberation is observation. Watch the mind without judgment, as if standing beside a river and noticing where the water hesitates or swirls. Patterns reveal themselves not to shame or suppress, but to understand. By simply witnessing thoughts and fears, energy begins to shift. What was tangled starts to untangle. The subconscious, long trained by repetition, begins to respond to a gentler, more conscious hand. Shaolin wisdom teaches that freedom is born not from force, but from detachment. When you release automatic reactions, those knee-jerk judgments and habitual fears, you allow energy to circulate unhindered. This is not avoidance, it is mastery. It is learning to respond from a place of awareness rather than from ingrained habit. Each moment becomes an opportunity to reset, to realign, to choose a path informed by presence rather than reflex. This practice transforms the ordinary into subtle power. Small, consistent acts of observing without judgment, of releasing what no longer serves, begin to open channels within. Energy flows more freely, clarity emerges, and the mind no longer dictates through unseen patterns. The currents that once seemed blocked now carry intention effortlessly, guiding thought, breath, and action toward a state of quiet, steady mastery. True freedom, in this sense, is not about control. It is the natural consequence of conscious detachment. Intent is more than a thought. It is a force that sets the unseen currents of life into motion. Every deliberate intention carries energy, quietly instructing the body, the mind, and the deeper layers of the subconscious. When attention is scattered, energy drifts, restless and unfocused. When intention is clear, it becomes a guiding current, shaping not just perception, but the very way reality unfolds. The subconscious is the silent partner in this process. It does not argue, it does not question. It receives the signals of intention as commands, translating thought into subtle shifts in posture, breath, and even the body's natural energy flow. This is why repeated, conscious focus becomes transformative. The body, mind, and energy system learn to move in harmony, guided by a steady hand. What begins as an abstract idea gradually manifests in action, presence, and influence. Discipline amplifies this effect. Shaolin teachings emphasize that focus is a muscle, one strengthened through practice. A single, directed intention, repeated with calm attention, transforms scattered energy into precision. Movement becomes fluid, thought becomes clear, and the currents of life respond in subtle but undeniable ways. Even small actions gain momentum when rooted in mindful purpose. Over time, this alignment creates a quiet authority within. The body no longer resists, the mind no longer vacillates, and energy flows with minimal friction. Scattered impulses are gathered, shaped, and sent forth as purposeful action. The power of intention is not flashy. It is the silent sculptor of reality, molding life through consistent awareness and deliberate practice. In this way, mastery is not imposed. It is cultivated, a natural consequence of aligning inner focus with the deep intelligence of the subconscious. The body is not just flesh and bone. It is a vessel of latent energy, quietly storing strength, clarity, and vitality beneath the surface. Most people move through life unaware of this reservoir, carrying tension, fatigue, and distraction that block its flow. Within this hidden well lies the potential to transform thought into action, intention into presence, and stillness into power. Shaolin tradition teaches that the body must be trained with precision to awaken this energy. Physical discipline is not merely exercise, it is a practice in alignment. Every stance, every controlled movement, every deliberate motion acts like a key, unlocking currents that have remained dormant. Through repetition and focus, the body begins to circulate energy efficiently, allowing it to flow from the core outward, influencing posture, breath, and even subtle states of consciousness. Breath becomes the bridge between mind and body. Mindful attention to inhalation and exhalation connects movement to awareness, creating a rhythm that harmonizes internal energy. As the body moves with focus, the mind settles. As the mind settles, energy flows freely. Shaolin-inspired exercises are not only physical, they are meditative. They teach the practitioner to sense the invisible, to feel the pulse of energy with each step, each shift, each stretch. This integration of body, breath, and awareness turns ordinary practice into alchemy. Energy that once lay dormant awakens, circulating in harmony with thought and intention. Small, consistent rituals, standing postures, slow sequences, focused breathing become gateways, revealing the quiet but powerful reservoir within. In this way, the body becomes both instrument and teacher, showing that mastery is not an external conquest, but a deep lived understanding of the energy already present within every movement, every breath, and every moment of awareness. The mind is not separate from the body. It shapes it in ways that are often invisible but undeniable. Thoughts, emotions, and intentions are currents of energy, and when they move in harmony, they ripple outward, subtly influencing posture, movement, and even the environment around us. Shaolin teachings remind us that the inner state manifests outwardly. Clarity produces precision, calm produces resilience, and alignment produces flow. When thought, emotion, and breath are synchronized, energy no longer stagnates. A steady mind paired with intentional breathing channels life force through the body, releasing tension and heightening awareness. Muscles respond with ease, movements gain fluidity, and the subtle energy that underlies action becomes visible in posture, gait, and presence. Even the spaces we inhabit seem to respond to this coherent energy, as if the alignment of mind and body resonates beyond the self. Consistency is the key. Repeated practice, whether in movement, meditation, or breathwork, strengthens the connection between intention and manifestation. Over time, the body and mind begin to act as one, responding to subtle cues from the subconscious, amplifying focus, and refining energy flow. This is where the quiet power of entanglement emerges. The practitioner's energy begins to interlace with higher currents of consciousness, creating a resonance that draws clarity, insight, and influence into daily life. The process is gentle, patient, and deliberate. It is not about forcing change, but about cultivating conditions where energy naturally aligns with thought and intention. With discipline and mindful presence, what was once hidden in subtle currents becomes tangible. Every breath, every movement, every moment of awareness contributes to a deeper mastery, one in which energy, mind, and body entangle seamlessly, shaping not only the self but the world touched by that harmonious current. Mastery of energy is not a sudden revelation. It is not a moment of triumph or a single breakthrough. True understanding unfolds slowly, through years of attention, practice, and presence. Each day, each action, each choice contributes to the gradual shaping of the mind, body, and energy. This is the rhythm of inner cultivation, a lifelong journey rather than a destination. Small, consistent actions may seem insignificant at first. A single breath held with focus, a posture practiced with awareness, a thought observed without judgment, they appear trivial alone. Yet over time, they accumulate, compounding quietly into profound change. The currents of energy, once scattered and weak, begin to consolidate. Patterns of thought shift, tensions dissolve, clarity and strength emerge, not suddenly, but as the natural result of patient, deliberate practice. Inner mastery reveals itself in subtle ways. Confidence becomes authentic, grounded in the certainty of awareness rather than in external approval. Resilience grows, not from force or stubbornness, but from the calm recognition of one's own capacity to navigate challenge. Presence deepens, allowing each moment to be met fully without distraction or hesitation. These qualities are not learned from books or spoken words. They arise naturally when the mind and body are trained to act in harmony, when energy flows freely and consciously through every decision and action. Shaolin wisdom teaches that this is the way of true power, quiet, patient, unassuming, yet unstoppable. Each step in the practice strengthens the invisible architecture within. Over years, the small choices and disciplined habits build a foundation that supports not only personal transformation, but the ability to influence life with subtle authority. Mastery is lived, not declared, and the one who cultivates it moves through the world with calm assurance, resilience, and an energy that touches everything it encounters.